Which of the assumptions given above is correct? In India, the segregation of municipal waste at source is rare. We are talking about segregation of municipal waste. In this line, recycling is mostly with the informal sector, mostly structured. More than 3/4 of the municipal budget goes into collection and transportation. We segregate municipal waste to recycle, but more than 3/4 of the budget goes into collection, transportation, which leaves very little for processing, resource recovery and disposal. Where does waste to energy fit into all this? Ideally, it fits in the chain after segregation between wet waste and the rest. Collection, recycling, and before getting to the landfill, which technology is most appropriate in converting waste to energy depends on what is in the waste, that is biodegradable versus non-biodegradable component, and its calorific value. The biodegradable component of India's municipal solid waste is a little over 50%, and biomethanation offers a major solution for processing this. Assumptions: collection, processing and segregation of municipal waste should be with government agencies. There is no mention that it should be with government agencies, and government agencies are burdened actually because 3/4 of municipal budget goes into collection, transportation, which leaves very little for processing, resource recovery and disposal. So we cannot say this. Resource recovery, recycling require technological inputs that can be best handled by private sector enterprises. Again, this is not mentioned. So this is an extreme statement. It should be with government agencies. No, nowhere it is mentioned. Government agencies are already burdened. That doesn't mean that the technological inputs that can be best handled by private sector enterprises. This is also not mentioned. We are talking about technology, but who handles best is not mentioned. So answer is D. Crux of the passage: generation of energy from municipal solid waste is inexpensive. Nowhere this is mentioned in the passage. Inexpensive, cost aspect, nowhere mentioned. Biomethanation is the most ideal way of generating energy from municipal solid waste. Biomethanation offers a major solution, most ideal way, extreme. And we are not talking about this as a whole in the passage. Segregation of municipal waste, this is what we are discussing in the passage. Segregation at source is rare. Which technology is most appropriate in converting waste to energy depends on what is in the waste. So segregation is very important. Segregation of municipal solid waste is the first step in ensuring the success of waste to energy plants. Yes, this is what we are discussing. Let's see option D. The biodegradable component of India's municipal solid waste is not adequate to provide energy from waste efficiently or effectively. This is not discussed in the passage. So our answer is C. Which of the assumptions given above is correct? There is a claim that organic farming is inherently safer and healthier. This is claim. The reality is that because the organic farming industry is still because statutories and not well regulated in India, farmers and consumers alike are not only confused about what products are best for them, but sometimes use products in ways that could harm them as well. For example, since organic fertilizers are difficult to obtain on a large scale in India, farmers often use farmyard manure, which may contain toxic chemicals and heavy metals. Certain plant sprays such as datura flower and leaf spray have an element called atropine. If it is not applied in the right dose, it can act on the nervous system of the consumer. Unfortunately, how much and when to use it are not well researched or regulated issues. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. Organic farming is inherently unsafe for both farmers and consumers. Extreme statement, eliminate. There is a claim that organic farming is inherently safer and healthier, but this is not true. That doesn't mean it's inherently unsafe. People need to be educated about organic farming. How much and when to use organic fertilizers. This is not well researched or regulated. So that needs to be addressed. That doesn't mean organic farming is inherently unsafe. So eliminate. Farmers and consumers need to be educated about eco-friendly food. Yes, this is what is mentioned in the passage. Answer is B. Most logical, rational and practical message. In India, organic farming should not be promoted as a substitute for conventional farming. Nowhere there is a mention about this. Extreme statement, eliminate. There are no safe organic alternatives to chemical fertilizers. No mention about this. In India, farmers need to be guided and helped to make their organic farming sustainable. Yes, sounds sensible. People need to be educated. The aim of organic farming should not be to generate huge profits as there is still no global market for its products. No mention about this in the passage. Answer C. Which of the above assumptions are valid? Food consumption patterns have changed substantially in India over the past few decades. This has resulted in the disappearance of many nutritious foods such as millets. While food grain production has increased over 5 times since independence, it has not sufficiently addressed the issue of malnutrition. For long, the agriculture sector focused on increasing food production, particularly staples, which led to lower production and consumption of indigenous traditional crops, grains, fruits, and other vegetables, impacting food and nutrition security in the process. Further, intensive monoculture agriculture practices can perpetuate the food and nutrition security problem by degrading the quality of land, water, and food derived through them. Let's look at the assumptions now. To implement the sustainable development goals and to achieve zero hunger goal, monoculture agriculture practices are inevitable even if they do not address malnutrition. There is no mention about SDGs in this passage. Eliminate. Dependence on a few crops has negative consequences for human health and the ecosystem. This is what is being discussed here. Intensive monoculture agriculture practices can perpetuate the food and nutrition security problem by degrading the ecosystem. Sounds sensible? Since one is not there, we can eliminate these two. Two should be there. So this is going to be our answer. But let's look at other assumptions. Government policies regarding food and planning need to incorporate nutritional security. This is what we are lacking. So government policies should incorporate nutritional security. Sound sensible? For the present monoculture agriculture practices, farmers receive subsidies in various ways and government offers remunerative prices for grains and therefore they do not tend to consider crop diversity. There is no mention about subsidies in the passage, so it's wrong. 2 and 3. Answer B.